I was clapping for Kristen, not for myself, just FYI. I just wanted to make that very clear. Hi, everyone. My name is Bhavik Shah. I'm also another lead consultant for Call for Culture. So thank you, Angela, for your vision and your expertise to bring us all in the same room. So what I will do, that's my pretty photo. I'm going to go back to the shared connection for a bit and really talk about how we probably have a lot more in common than we think. So I'm going to pose a question to the group, and then I'll take a couple of responses, but maybe give you all about 30 seconds to ponder about it. What sort of impact would a culture committee make within your own specific organization, and why is that challenging to do? So again, I'll repeat it. What sort of impact would a culture committee make within your organization, and why is it challenging to do?
Unfortunately, I think if we were in our current state to implement a culture committee, they would have zero impact. And it's mainly because we actually had a DEIB working group, and they recently disbanded after getting feedback from the staff of people didn't know what they were doing and didn't understand the point of having the working group. And another issue we have is there's a bit of power hoarding where I don't think they would receive the autonomy and the authority to be able to affect positive change within the organization.
Thank you for that.
At my organization, it really wouldn't matter, because I think all they care right now is to keep the Best Employers Award, and culture really doesn't matter. So even when you do the employee engagement surveys, which we do twice a month, they say it's anonymous, but the reality of it is they actually see it, because I filled one out and got an email back from my manager. So I think they really just want to keep that award.
Oof, I feel awkward right now. I don't know how to respond. Okay, we will get back to this. We will problem solve that for sure. Anybody else? Anybody else on this side? Yes, Anika.
I think that the leader had a lot of really good vision for a lot of DEIB initiatives, but I think when it comes down to it, a lot of the big tech companies prioritize revenue. So middle managers kind of feel disillusioned and disengaged, and they're like, oh, like another, performative thing, and they don't want to do it. And what happens with that is, especially when middle managers and senior managers kind of have a half-hearted attitude for it, then a lot of interns or like new hires or people from other global contexts or countries will not want to do it as well. So I think that happens with a lot of barriers. So as much as we say that like culture is an everybody thing, if it doesn't come with that sponsorship from executive leaders or like senior leaders, then it's very, very hard for people to feel like that there's going to be actionable change regardless of whether you gather them or not.
Great, thank you. So the reason why I asked this question is not to bum everyone out after lunch. That's not my role here. That will be after dinner. No, I'm just kidding. The reason why I bring this up is because we have a lot of challenges that are in common, right? But does that mean that we stop doing the work? Does that mean that this work does not matter? That was your chance, guys. That was your chance. No, the reason why we're here is because we want to create impact. So the challenges are always going to be there. We're not going to solve the world's problem in one session, 2 days, even this year. But the fact of the matter is that this work matters because it impacts all of us from an individual perspective, but it also impacts us from the collective perspective as well. So what I want you all to think about during this session while I'm leading, and a lot of it will be workshopping within your table mates, is to think about those challenges, right? About forming the culture committee, why this is important, similar to what Kristen said, but then also what Angela said about the persona mapping and those integration points. What I would like you all to think about is not think what the next step will be for next year. Think about what you can do immediately for Q2, right? We have a month left to really, after Memorial Day. What can you do this quarter to place your culture committee steps in place? Place your culture committee steps in the right direction. And then what can you do in Q3 and what can you do in Q4. Think very small and realistic, because what I've seen work in the past for Call for Culture clients and also in my own work is that small changes do make big impact. It's just that we have to think about those really finite moments, who we want to engage, like Anika said, that leadership perspective. And then if there are challenges, if there are performative ways that people are blocking your initiatives, how do we circumvent that? How do we think strategically about getting their buy-in with the level of empathy? So it's just so important to think about it. And this is a framework that I want everyone to sort of reflect on as they do the workshopping. Kristen already alluded to it, but I'll just abbreviate it. Engaging, informing, activating, and amplifying, right? We want to engage the right people. We want to make sure that they're informed, not because we want to just over-articulate our work. We want to make sure that they understand the buy-in. They understand why you're doing it. And they also understand the benefit. What is it for me? All leaders care about is, why is this beneficial to me? Unfortunately, that is just the world that we live in. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But if they understand the vision and they understand the why behind it, does it affect retention? Does it affect attrition? Does it affect employee engagement? Are their competitors doing it? These are the statistics and the data that Rob and Aparna were looking at before. That's going to help you. Then you want to activate them, give the right tools and process, getting the right people in place, and then you want to amplify that as much as possible. So Kim, please snap away for 7 times for me. Thank you, I appreciate you so much. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna give you a prompt for now. We're gonna have about 10 minutes. Take some time to reflect on it, write it in your notebook, and then talk with your teammates at the table. So the first prompt is thinking about the personal mapping. What members of the community must be engaged in solving your lab challenge statement? And who will you be inviting to the culture committee? Again, culture committee can be translated to ERG, culture champions, etc.